twilight, these sisters discuss the paranormal and the unnerving. They are known as the ParaSisters.
Hi guys, you are listening and watching the ParaSisters. I'm Tristan,
And I'm Rebecca.
and we are. I did that backwards this time.
I just realized that too. I was like, wait.
Yeah, because usually
we say something after we say our name.
right. I did it backwards. That's okay. I'm gonna roll with it.
No, yeah, we're not gonna redo it or anything. They know who we are. They know what we do.
Yes,
They're fine.
and we do awesome things.
That's right.
Yes, you guys make sure you like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on anywhere that you can find podcasts, pretty much, except for Apple. We're still waiting on that one Apple guy to be like, I need you on Apple.
Yeah, we've not heard anybody say we need Apple, so they can go fuck themselves.
Not
No,
yet.
I'm just kidding.
Not yet. I have Apple products myself, and I do not even use Apple. So sorry, iTunes. But
Sorry, not sorry.
right, I'm super excited for Halloween, Becca.
Oh my gosh,
Like I was doing my research for it, and I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
I'm also very excited. I can't wait.
And I found so much stuff. Yes.
I can't wait.
Tech guy Dylan's still working on that special surprise, so hopefully that'll be up and running soon.
I mean, what the F, really? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I said, what the F, really?
I know. Well, he's got school and he works, so.
I know, he's a baby.
I know.
He's too young to be a tech guy. He's a baby.
He's only 16. I know. He's been my tech guy since he was like 10. I know.
That's hilarious.
So, anyway, today we're going to discuss a place that is actually pretty well known, but I was like, this place is so fun. It's a little heavy, of course, because anything that has to do with ghosts and stuff like that is heavy.
Yes.
Because of the history that it has. But the place itself is fun, and this is definitely on my list of places to go for our haunted tour.
Yes.
We will have to go here.
Yes.
And it is the Lake Shawnee Amusement Park in Mercer County, West Virginia.
So I feel like I've heard of this place, but I can't, like, think of anything that I've ever heard of it, so I don't know.
Okay, so when I get into it, you actually will remember hearing about this. It's pretty well known. I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know what the name of it was until I started reading it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that place I know about.
Interesting.
So, yes, it is. It's a fun place. Like, we are definitely going to go here.
Yes, we need a list of all the places we're going to go.
I think that every haunted location in the world.
I would also like that, but I'm not sure if you're aware how rich we would have to be to do that.
You know what, though? If we budget and we do it right, I think we could pull it off.
I think we could too. Like, there's so many places I want to go. I agree. Worldwide. It's not even just in the United States. Worldwide.
I know. Yes. So, we'll go we're going to start way back in history. Actually, we're going to start in 1775.
That's awesome.
That is before West Virginia is even a state. It's so in the spot that is now the Shawnee, the Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, Mitchell Clay and his family, his wife Phoebe, and their 14 children.
Yikes.
Yeah. Buy between 800 and 1,200 acres of land. They're not exactly sure exactly how many acres it was, but they believe it was between 8 and 1,200. 8 on the small side, 1,200 on the big side.
Right.
And this property was on either side of the Bluestone River, which is very close to Princeton, West Virginia, actually.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you people who live there an idea of where the Lake Shawnee Amusement Park is. So he and his wife and their 14 children move on to this property that they buy. He buys this property with a grant that he got from some duke or some other. He's an English settler.
Right.
So he fought this war in England for this duke. The duke gives him a grant, and he uses that grant to buy property in America. So they all move here. Um, at the time, like I said, West Virginia wasn't even a state, and this little settlement was called Clover Bottom, which I think is very cool.
Oh gosh,
Clover Bottom. I don't
I
even think they should have changed the name.
no, yeah, I
I
need to
think it
name.
should
I
just.
need to name something Clover Bottom. That's
I
my
think
new.
it should
That's
just
my
be
new
Clover
goal.
Bottom. So he gets this grant. He goes there. He buys this property. They start a farm because what else are you going to do with all this property? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a shit ton of acreage. Um, but before he buys this property, like a few years before, there was a bitter land battle between the Shawnee tribe and another tribe that I actually didn't get the name of.
Yeah.
But so the Shawnee tribe and this other tribe actually own this land, and the government just comes in, of course, and takes it, which at the time it wouldn't be the US government because they didn't exist.
No, it's the British government. The, or
Right, the British
yeah,
government, yeah.
the French, whoever it was.
Well, it would have been England at the time because England came over. They're the ones that sent the first settlers, to Jamestown, which is
Yes.
also in Virginia.
Yes.
Um, so there's a bitter land battle because it was taken from the Shawnee tribe. Um, so he buys this land, he moves in, they start their farm. The Shawnee tribe actually warns them many times, hey, we're pissed off. This is our land. Get off of it because bad shit's going to happen to you.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just saying, bad shit's going to happen, right? So, needless to say, they were not happy that these people, these white settlers, English settlers, just come in and move in on their lands.
I can imagine.
So, the Shawnee tribe did not live on this land. They didn't live here. Um, Prior to the Clays moving into onto it, they actually hadn't lived here for decades and decades. Like it had been probably close to over 100 years before since anybody had actually lived on the land.
Oh.
Um, yeah. So, but they were using the land. Let's just say that they were using it. They just were not living there.
What were they using it for?
We will get into it.
Ooh, I'm freaked out already.
Yeah. So the Clays live here for 8 years with, like, just like little things happening, like the tribes people coming and they're messing with their shit and
Yeah.
maybe killing some of their animals, like just kind of warnings to get off their land. Well, finally, August 17th, 1883, Mitchell Clay goes hunting. So he leaves the family farm, and when he leaves, he asks two of his sons out of his plethora of children.
14.
Um, he asks his two sons, Bartley, who I believe is the youngest son, and another son, Ezekiel, to build a fence around some grain that he had recently purchased. And he wanted to keep the animals away from it for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Um, and so the boys are building this fence, and nearby, Tabitha, the oldest girl, it doesn't say exactly how old she is washing laundry, because that's what you did back then, wash
Yeah.
laundry,
Cook.
hung it up outside. Um, and from some accounts, some of the other girls were there with her, Well, she's like nearby, but she can't see the boys building the fence, but they're within shouting distance of each other. Well, while they're all working and doing their chores and the boys are building the fence, 11 Shawnee tribesmen come onto the property and they shoot Bartley on sight
Oh, a
and kill him.
baby, a little kid.
Yes, they shoot him and they kill him and they grab Ezekiel. Well, Tabitha hears this, hears the shot, right? And so she takes off to the house. She's like, what the fuck's going on? I need to get home. So she starts running to the house. Well, as she's running to the house, this takes her by where these Indians had attacked her brothers. Um, and she sees Bartley laying on the ground. So she runs over to him, right, and is like trying to help him. Well, in this melee, she gets stabbed to death.
Oh my
The Indians
gosh.
actually stab her to death. Yes. So, so the Indians take off. They have taken Ezekiel. They have left. Phoebe, which is Mitchell's wife and their mother, she comes running out of the house. She sees her two slain children on the ground, right? Um, and but she doesn't see the Indians or anything. But she obviously knows what's going on. Well, her and the other children drag Tabitha and Bartley's bodies back into the house. They put her in bed. She puts them in a bed, together, and her and the other children take off. They start running, and they go to the nearest neighbor's house, which is 6 miles away.
Holy shit. They ran 6 mile or walked or whatever?
They, yeah, they ran. I don't know if I'm sure they walked for a good part of it. It's 6 miles. I don't know who the hell can run 6 miles.
Not me, as you can
You'll
tell.
be lucky if I run to the end of my damn driveway.
That's pretty much what I say. You only run if you're in trouble. If someone's
Right.
chasing
I
you.
always I always thought that saying, if you see me running, you better run because something's coming after us. Like, because that's honestly
Yeah.
me. If you see me running, there is something totally wrong. So they run 6 miles to the closest neighbor, which is John Bailey, for safety, right? So they get to his house, they're safe, everybody's good. The rest of them are good anyway. Well, meanwhile, Mitchell Clay returns to his house, to his home, after hunting. He finds signs of the massacre, outside,
Yeah.
and he runs in the house and he finds the dead children in the bed. And he automatically assumes that the rest of his family has either been taken or killed.
Oh.
So he takes off
I'm sorry,
and he goes.
the mom didn't leave a note. I'm like, you can take a second to
Right.
say,
Well,
like,
I
went to
think that
neighbors.
well, yeah, but I think that she was in such a panic because, I mean, she just watched two of her kids being killed by Indians. You know what I mean? And so okay, so he comes in, he sees all this stuff. He takes off too because he's assuming the worst possible thing,
Of
of
course,
course.
right.
Um, and he goes to John Bailey's house
Oh, okay.
to get a search party together because that's their closest neighbor, and from all accounts they were friends. There's nothing untoward going on between any of them. So he gets to John Bailey's house, and of course he finds the rest of his family there, safe and sound. Gets the story from the wife about what the hell's going on with his family and the kids and all that stuff,
Right.
right? So he and Phoebe then head back to the property, to the ranch, to bury the other kids and kind of put them to rest.
Yeah.
So they bury the bodies on the property, of course, because that's how things were done back then. When you own so much property, you just buried them on your property.
Yeah.
Um, they are still buried there.
That's
The children are still there to
crazy.
this day. Yeah. So Mitchell Clay gets a posse of other settlers together, right, to go find the tribesman and his other son Ezekiel, who was taken with him. Um, they don't find him right away because the indigenous people took him to Ohio, actually. So, and I'm assuming that that's pretty far away. I didn't look at a map. I guess I should have. That would have been smart to see how far Ohio is from this place in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Um, isn't it like a state away or something like that?
I have no
Like in my
freaking
mind,
idea.
Ohio's over here and West Virginia's over here. So
I have no idea.
I don't
I'll
know.
put up a map when I do the editing.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Okay.
So he was taken to Ohio, right? But they get there and they find out that they had burned him at the stake.
No.
Yeah, and he was 16.
Oh.
Yeah. So The party get to where the tribesmen are, and obviously it is a very bloody battle. Many were lost on both sides.
Yeah.
Um, so the settler party were actually particularly brutal in what they when they killed the Indians. They actually took strips of skin off their backs and used it as leather. Um, what is it? Leather razor straps.
Oh Lord.
The Clay family had done this, yeah,
Got a Buffalo
and
Bill
these
thing
were.
going on.
It's it's weird, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah,
it
I don't
ridiculously
like
weird?
that. It freaks me out. Like really.
I don't. You think that freaks you out? The family actually passed these down as heirlooms.
Ew.
They were family
I would
heirlooms
throw
from
that
generation to
shit
generation.
in the garbage if that came to me. I'm like, this is trash.
Yeah, me too. It's awful. So, but the chief of the Shawnee tribe actually lets Mitchell take his boy home to be buried properly, and actually gives him a horse to do it with. Lets him borrow a horse to do it with.
That's
So he
nice.
takes him home. Um, they take his son back home to bury him. We don't know where he's buried exactly.
Oh, he's not on the property with the.
Well, it is some accounts say that he is buried on the property, that they actually exhumed the other two bodies and buried all of them together.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But because they have never exhumed the bodies, they don't know for certain if that's where he's at or not.
That makes sense.
People are just like, it's just assumed that's where he was buried. So they, yeah, it said that all three children were laid together, you know,
Yeah.
in peace. Um, at the Lake Shawnee amusement park, there is a marker there that states this is where they were buried. The
Oh.
other two, Bartley and Tabitha, that they're buried there. Um, and to this day, it's still there. But it was erected in 1937. They actually built it for them. Um, Phoebe never returns to the farm because honestly, who would?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she never goes back. But um, some of the Clay family did retain the property and they did live there for quite some time after this incident happened. 144 years later. We're just going to jump ahead in some time here.
Holy moly.
Yeah, because nothing really relevant or notable happened in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the original owners died and the property changes hands to other people in the family. It's left to other people in the family.
Right.
So 144 years later, it's 1927. Um, the property is up for sale, and Conley Snidow. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody can tell us exactly how to say that. Um,
Who cares?
Conley Snidow buys the land because at that time in Virginia, the coal mining was very, very big.
Yeah. Even
So he
still,
figured
coal mining's really big in
there's a lot of
Virginia.
there's a lot of people here and they need some entertainment,
Yeah.
right? So Conley buys the property and he builds an amusement park. How fun is that?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So he builds this amusement park, but not only is it an amusement park, it has a dance hall, it has a speakeasy, it has pools and like man-made pools and diving boards, and like it was all around a fun place to be. He has a Ferris wheel and he has these swings that those carnival swings
Uh-huh.
that I would never get on ever,
Yes.
ever.
I don't think
We
I've ever ridden one of those either. I don't.
Me neither.
I
At
won't.
when we go to the festival here,
Hmm.
we call it the YOLO because you only live once, especially if you get on
You
those damn
will
swings.
die if you are on there. You will die.
Right. So I've never been on them, and I'm not interested in getting on them.
No effing way, man.
But okay, so these swings, you have to imagine they were built in the 1920s. So they're literally just boards with chains connected to them.
Shut up. It's like a tree swing.
Literally a tree swing. Yes. It's ridiculous.
But they swing you around mechanically, I'm assuming, still.
Yeah, when I send you the pictures, you'll see exactly what these things are. They're awful. But I mean, I'm assuming that in 1927, like they didn't have anything better. Like this was probably great because everything up
Yeah.
until like probably the late teens, the late 19s, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? They probably only had like rope and wood, you know what I mean?
They're like, we got chain. This is an upgrade. Got the chain.
Yes, but this was a good place to be. They even rented out wool bathing suits for 15 cents a piece. Can you imagine putting on a
Wool.
wool bathing suit?
Yeah, that's not heavy and hot at all.
That is gross. And it smells bad. Wool
Yeah.
smells bad when it gets wet.
Yeah.
That's gross. It's nasty.
I think
That is
that's
so
fantastic. I'm
nasty.
gonna go buy a wool bathing suit if I can.
I think you'd have to have one specially made.
I'm
Like
gonna.
it's like knitted with wool.
Oh
Like we should call grandma and
shit.
ask her to knit us a wool bathing suit.
Like grandma. Oh, that's great.
I'm gonna need a wool bathing suit, grandma. She's gonna be like, "Are you out of your ever loving mind?"
Yeah, she probably would say exactly that. What is wrong with you?
She probably asks that all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
What is wrong with you guys? So, opens in 1927, 1934. Everything is going good so far. You know, it's running. He's making a ton of money. Obviously,
Of
you know
course.
what I mean.
Yep.
Um, so everything's good so far until James Kraft Belcher. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little back history. Phoebe, who was married to Mitchell Clay, her maiden name was Belcher.
Oh.
So James Kraft Belcher is related to Phoebe. He is a great great grandson related to the family.
Yeah.
And he actually grew up on the property.
Oh.
Yes. So he knows the property very well, you know. Obviously after it was sold, he didn't have anything much to do with it. But he was a drunk and he was mean and he was a cheater. He was awful, right? He was an awful person. So he is having an affair. He's married, but he's having an affair with a 19-year-old girl
Ugh.
named Myrtle Taylor. Well, he happens to be driving by this place with a diner, you know, a place where you go eat dinner, and he sees Myrtle having dinner with another man. This is May 11th, 1934.
My mistress is cheating on me.
Right. Because he has a right to say that,
Yeah.
dumbass. So he flips out. He loses his damn mind. He goes into the restaurant, forces her out, right? Forces her out of the place and into his car. And he starts driving with her, right? Well, they stop on the road that borders the Shawnee amusement park. And he makes her get out of the car and he shoots her twice
What?
in the middle of the street. In the middle of the street, just shoots her twice in the head. Yeah. Well, she lives, and he takes her to the hospital where she later dies. But this is the another instance and where something terrible happens on or near the property. I mean, this is the road bordering the property that I'm sure that at one time was actually part of the property.
I'm just like, he. What? He just like shoots her. It's like, I'm fucking.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, he's in such a jealous rage that he actually gets her out of the car and shoots her. I just think it's weird that he chose that specific spot.
That is weird. It's because
On
he
the
knows
road
it, I
bordering.
guess. I'm like, it's so.
I
It
don't
is
know.
weird. It's creepy. And it's weird that he
So,
took her to the hospital. Like, I don't get that.
well, I
That's
think he just kind of panicked and didn't know what to do after that because she lived. And he's like, and he's probably in a drunken stupor, so because drunk people are retarded
That's true. Yes.
when they're like, that far gone.
When they're drunk.
Right. And so he takes her to the hospital. Well, he tries to claim insanity. It did not work.
He's like, I'm crazy, I promise.
It didn't work, and he gets tried and goes to prison. And he lives in prison until he's 83 years old, and he died in like 1990 something.
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So, um, everything's good. So, for a little while, um, the amusement park runs as an amusement park from 1933 to 1966. Reportedly, 6 deaths happened on the property in that time period. Um, the first one, now it says in a hotel that the Snidows live in, the Connolly Snidow and his wife, they live in a hotel evidently, but I'm not sure if it's a hotel on the property or if it was a hotel off the property. It's not very clear in where the hotel exactly is. Well, um, on 7/3/1966, so July 3rd, 1966. No, I'm sorry, that's the event afterwards. I don't have a date for this one. I don't know why. Anyway, Snydow's 3-year-old daughter um, gets loose from his wife, and she runs toward the elevator and tries to climb on the elevator. Well, the elevator was going up at the time.
Oh.
And yeah, she gets crushed between the floor of the elevator and the upper floor. Yeah, and she dies. So that's the first one.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's awful. So, um, July 3rd, 1966, John Richard Tiley is 6 years old. Um, he drowns in one of the pools because these pools were like ponds that they made to seem like natural pools,
Yeah.
like natural lakes or natural ponds. So they put concrete in the bottom of them,
Mm-hmm.
and they all had these drains and stuff in it. So he's swimming in one of these pools, one of these ponds, and his clothes or his arm, they're not exactly sure exactly what happened, but it gets stuck in the drain at the bottom of the pool, and he drowns.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So, Snidow is really upset by this, so he has the workers drain the pool and fill it full of sand.
Wow.
Yeah, so they drain the pool, they fill it full of sand, and kind of like just, brush it off. And, well, that's awful, but now, we have business to run and we got, shit to do.
Yeah.
Um, a little while after that, though, Wayne Harmon, sorry, the way I spelt it was weird. Wayne Harmon, who is also 6 years old, drowns in a lake that no one is supposed to swim in anyway. I mean, there are lifeguards and stuff on duty, but they evidently were not supposed to be in the lake. His mother was there and some of his other siblings were there. Well, he drowns in the lake. Um, no one sees this happening, and by the time they find him, it's too late, obviously. Um, Also in 1966, um, this is the most awful one. So, a 10-year-old girl is on the swings, and she's, it's going around and stuff. She's riding the ride. A delivery truck backs up into the path of the swings. Like, they don't have it like blocked off or anything. It just backs up into the path of the swings, and she hits the side of the delivery truck on the swing. Yeah.
I just don't even.
And
This place is awful.
I don't even know how does this happen? I want to know, how the hell does this happen?
Wait, they didn't have fences in 1966? I don't believe that.
Well, obviously it did, because in 1776, Mitchell Clay was having his boys build a fence.
Oh my God.
It's awful. So, The witnesses say that it was extremely gruesome, and that the only she was wearing that her ruffled they say that her ruffled pink dress was soaked in blood.
Oh gosh.
Right. So they have a couple other ones that are unsubstantiated. So there's notes of them in here. It's one of them is a small girl is riding the swings again, and she falls out of the bottom of it,
Oh my
like
goodness.
slips under the chain that is over her lap,
Yeah.
and she dies. And then another report is a gambler in one of the gaming houses, one of the speakeasies, gets killed over a money dealing gone wrong. And then the sixth one is unsubstantiated because I can't find anything about who it was, what the circumstances were, or anything like that.
Right.
So in 1966, Conley Sidnow decides to shut down the park. He's like, it is not worth children's lives. It's not worth people getting hurt to keep it open, even though he's making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's a very dangerous place. And, especially after his own daughter died, I think he was very not down with hurting the children,
Yeah.
So he shuts down the park, and it's vacant for quite a while. Until Gaylord White buys it in the late 1980s. So Gaylord White and the White family, they buy the park. Gaylord actually worked there when Sidnow owned the park. So he was like in his youth, he had actually worked at the park. When he buys it, he's like a local businessman now, and he buys it. And he wants to reopen it,
Right.
but he wants to make it better. You know what I mean? So he buys this park with the idea that he's going to reopen the park, and he actually does. He reopens the park. So he wants to like bring back some of the older, some of the old attractions, like because after the park closed down, they sold off everything.
Oh,
So it was
right.
just now
It was just
open
empty
land.
basically.
Right, it was empty land. So they sold off all of the pools and stuff were still there, but they got rid of all the rides and things like that. So he opens it back up and he brings in a Ferris wheel. He brings in smaller rides like bumper cars, little paddle boat rides, and stuff like that.
Right.
All he's missing is a swing set, right? Because he wants to bring back the original
No.
style swing set. Because he felt like it needed like its old, like the old way they used to do things to kind of make it a success.
Right.
So they look for like a swing set, right? And they actually they buy the Ferris wheel, they get the Ferris wheel and it's installed and stuff. They actually find a swing set in New Jersey. Now this is where it gets interesting. Okay. So they find this swing set, they go to New Jersey, they pick up the swing set, they bring it back. They're getting it set up, right? They find the serial number on the swing set, right? Well, they look at the serial number because they bought it from an antique place. So they're kind of interested in where this swing set came from.
Yeah.
And so they look at the serial number on the swing set. It is the swing set that used to be at the park.
No.
It is the same
They
swing
can't
set
use that thing. It's cursed.
that used to be there, right? It's the same damn swing set.
It's cursed.
I read that and I was like, no, shut up.
Right?
How?
Why would they even
How
use
is that even possible?
How is that possible?
Right. I mean, it's been like 20 something years that the park has been shut down.
Yeah.
And they happen to find a swing set at an antiques dealer in New Jersey, and it's the same damn swing set.
It's like tripping me out, man.
Right. Like, it's weird. That is weird. So they open the park back up on The 4th of July weekend, 1987. They opened the park. So they're open and for 3 years, and they run it successfully for 3 years. They didn't have any accidents. They didn't have anything bad happen there. But after 3 years, they did end up and have to close it as an amusement park because of the insurance rates were so high that they could no longer afford to keep it open. Because when they opened it, they ran the park and it only cost $1 to get in.
Oh, right.
So, so they only made you pay $1, where in one weekend they could have 10,000 people come in, but without raising the prices on the tickets, they could no longer afford the insurance.
Right.
Which I would imagine that insurance on a freaking amusement park is extremely ridiculous, because I think car insurance is ridiculous.
Yes. Right.
No telling how much it costs to insure an amusement park or a water
Oh
park
gosh,
or
I
anything
couldn't
like
even
that.
imagine, right? Like,
My $200, sorry, my $200 insurance bill is freaking
you're like,
ridiculous.
no. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably like
So
$10,000 a week.
I wouldn't even know, man. I should have researched that too. I'm kind of curious now to see how much
Huh.
insurance costs on a damn amusement park.
That'd be crazy.
So, so after 3 years, I think they end up closing it, just because they can no longer afford to keep it open. But now they have this property, and they're like, "What the fuck we do with this property now?"
Yeah.
So because they can't run it as an amusement park, so they're like, "Hey, let's stock the ponds, and we'll run fishing tournaments."
Oh, okay.
So they did, and it was actually very successful. So they ran fishing tournaments in the ponds, and they had tours, and they did other events to keep it open,
Right.
to keep the park active. Um, so in the early 1990s, they think, huh, maybe mud bogging, because mud bogging is very popular, especially like I like mud bogging. Mud bogging's fun.
Who doesn't? It's just that's so redneck. It's hillbilly.
So I know, especially in West Virginia,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, goodness.
I don't, what would they consider it, because I live in Nevada and I like mud bogging. Is it redneck still?
Yeah, you're still a redneck.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's all right. It is what it is. You got to accept it.
I'm okay with it, really I am. So they start construction on a mud bogging track, right? Well, while they're bulldozing this place for the mud bogging track, um, they start finding artifacts like arrowheads and pieces of pottery and actual whole pots. So they stop. They stop doing everything on it, and they call in the local university, the Marshall University.
Right.
So then the students from Marshall University come in, and they spend several
Holy.
years digging up artifacts. Yeah. And then so they spend several years digging up these artifacts and graves.
What?
And they stopped digging when they started finding children's graves. Yes. So, archaeological experts believe that there are around 3,000 bodies here.
What? Are they all Shawnee?
They are all Native Americans.
Oh my
Well, except
gosh.
for the Clay family children,
Of course.
which they never dug those up. But these are just Native American people that they found 3,000, they believe 3,000 bodies. Um, and the only thing that the experts can think happened is that um, there was some kind of sickness that came through at that time,
Yeah.
and all like middle age or healthy people left, and they left all the elderly and the children there. Like all the elderly and the children stayed there to save the tribe.
But the children? I'm like,
Well, I mean, because you know how like some diseases, like if it was
yeah.
the flu would affect really small children and the elderly people, that's how the flu works.
Yeah.
Like people of middle in between there are pretty much okay with the flu. But if you're
Right.
real small or you're real old and you get the flu, your life could be in danger from the flu. So they think it was a sickness like that. So they think that all of the middle-aged people left, you know, the in-between age people left. And and the elderly and the small children stayed because that's all they found was really old and super young.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, after they found these bodies and stuff, the White family retained ownership. They closed it for all these specific events like the fishing and the mud bogging and stuff like that. They closed it. And they started offering like campfire stories where you
Oh.
could come after dark and tell stories around a campfire,
Yeah.
like a bonfire type thing. And they offered, like, of course, Halloween tours, themed Halloween tours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's where that history ends. Sorry, I'm trying to switch pages here because I have a lot more. It's just on a different place. So, I actually got this next part from some interviews in a newspaper, where they interviewed um, one of, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, the Elder White's sons, Gaylord White, the original, the one who bought it
Yeah.
in the 80s, where they're interviewing one of Gaylord White's sons. So he did an interview with the newspaper, and this is what came out of that interview. It says that when the Discovery Channel filmed one of their haunted shows there,
Mm.
um, White says that one of its investigators got stuck in the old ticket booth, which is not hard to open, and the door has no lock on it.
How do you get stuck?
So she's like trying to push the door open and yelling for help, and she could not get out. And she was in such a panic by the time that she got out. They actually had to take her to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and this is an investigator
Yeah.
working for the the Discovery Channel. So I mean, they're very experienced investigators,
Yeah.
but she was so panicked and freaked out that they had to take her to the hospital in Princeton.
Just because she
Yeah,
was stuck in there, or did something else happen?
the door would not open.
That's so
Like,
weird.
and White says like the door is not hard to open. It's just a push door.
Yeah.
It's not like creaky. It's like you just push it open and you go in there and then you can push it back out to get out. But when she tried to get out of there, she could not push the door open.
That's creepy.
Like something was holding her in the building
Yeah.
and she was screaming for help. Yeah. Um, it says that White won't speak of any personal creepy Lake Shawnee experiences. He does, however, say his father had an encounter with a little girl who lost her life on the swings 49 years ago. He says that dad was on the tractor in the field mowing, um, and he kept feeling a weight on his shoulders. He didn't know what it was, so one day he left the weight. He felt the weight and he turned around, and the little girl from the swings was there. She was in a ruffled dress and she had just appeared. He says his dad says that he wasn't scared, but the only thing he could think of was, well, if you like this tractor so much, I'm going to give it to you.
Huh.
Yeah, and I'd also read in a different account where he would see the girl also when he was out mowing.
Yeah.
Out of the corner of his eye, he would see the girl standing there just watching him mow. That tractor is still sitting there.
Really?
They have never moved it. He got off of it and left it sitting there. It's still sitting there since the late 90s.
What?
Yeah, left it where it is. It's
That's
still sitting there
crazy.
because he gave it to the girl. He's not going to move it. Nobody's going to move it because it was given to that little girl.
That's crazy.
So, yes, in 2013, I'm not sure what time Gaylord died. But his son Gay died in 2013, and Gaylord is also gone by then. Jewel White, who is Gaylord's wife, uh, said that she wasn't sure how she would continue to run Lake Shawnee. So she called her other children and she's like, hey guys, we need to do something with this place, you know?
Yeah.
So today, her and Chris, who is the one giving the interview, and along with volunteers, they take care of the property, they give tours, they answer calls, they obviously have ghost hunting crews come in. Um, they do a lot of Halloween activities. Now you have to call for an appointment. So they do a lot of Halloween activities. They do a dark carnival at Lake Nightmare. It's a haunted attraction around the lake, the
Ooh.
swings, and the
The
Ferris wheel.
swings.
Yes, the
You're going on the
swings.
swings, Tristan.
Uh, but she has said that she has seen security video.
Uh-huh.
It's actually on video. Um, there's a bus that her because she was really afraid that when she took over and made some changes that her son and her husband would be upset with the changes that she'd made. Well, she saw something and she's not very specific on what she saw, but it was a security video from a bus that gives the tours.
Uh-huh.
And it's the bus her son used to work. And she, whatever she saw in the security video, she believes her son is happy with what she had done there. And she has also seen on security video the Ferris wheel. Um, like it has the thing. It's like one of those older Ferris wheels that just have the seats, and
Yeah.
you put the bar down. She has seen the bar come up and down in the middle of the night on
What?
security video. Yeah. Um, and she believes it's her husband because he um, was very particular about when children were around to make sure that they could not get into the Ferris wheel and hurt themselves. So
Right.
he was very particular about checking to make sure that they were locked.
That's freaking me out. I just got the chills.
Yeah, and she thinks that it's kind of his way saying that everything's okay here, you know,
That's
which I thought was sweet.
crazy.
I like the emotional part of it.
Yeah.
And she says, quote, "It makes me happy. I'm just so glad to know that they're here. Even though I already knew it myself, I have this so I can prove it to others
Yeah.
that they're here."
That's
Um,
crazy.
so, sorry, I have to move this over a little bit. Uh, the new Gaylord White, I'm assuming it's another son,
Yeah.
says that he can hear the wooden swings creak,
Nope.
and
Nope.
there's no wind, but they'll move and they'll creak, and there's no wind. Uh, he says that if you put your hand on it, you can feel it like start to move underneath of you until you feel the cold air blowing through the seat.
Yeah.
And he says, uh, you'll like start on the outside, and by the time you get to the middle, it's warm. And
No.
they believe it's the little girl. Yeah. The younger White says that he's even seen the little girl with her dress covered in blood. Um, and he said that she looked at me, and as long as she was looking at me, I couldn't move.
Oh my god, I'm freaking out. Just.
I know.
Oh god.
Visitors have heard footsteps, mysterious chants, children's. They've heard children's.
Those childrens are back.
um, Visitors have heard footsteps, mysterious chants, and children. Sometimes the swings will move on their own. This is from a different place that I found this. Um, and that at some point another person got locked in a shabby ticket booth, even though the doors don't lock.
What?
Yeah, so that evidently happened more than once. So that is my end of my accounts. But I wanted to talk to you. How creepy AF that this is an actual Indian burial ground.
Dude, it trips me out. Like I understand that it's an amusement park and it's geared towards children, but almost every single death there on that
Was a
property
child.
were children. Like it just
Yeah.
freaks me out. Like even going back to the original family, they were all children. Like what in the
And
world?
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird. Even the girl, the Myrtle Taylor, who got murdered by her
Right. She was
cheating
like
ass ex,
19. She
whatever.
was basically a
Right.
child.
To me, that is a child.
Oh
I have
my
a
gosh.
19-year-old.
He's a baby.
He is a baby.
Oh, it's freaking me out, man. I can't believe they. I don't even know.
Right.
I can't believe they got
And
the
you know what
same
I'm
swing
wondering?
set.
Like, I'm wondering because now when you look it up, like, it's really difficult. It's not impossible, obviously, because I found it. But I want to know what has happened on this property in between.
I
You know what I mean?
know.
Because now, like, we have all of like the new time, like, accounts of what the hell's going on. But if this was an Indian burial ground,
Yeah.
what? And honestly, like, the Native Americans are some of the most spiritual people I have ever read about.
Yeah.
So, like, what
Di-
has been happening at this place when no one is around? Because all of these accounts are just of the girl and people who have died there.
right.
Specifically recently. What about the 3,000 bodies that are believed to be buried there?
Yeah, it's crazy that they're not trying to like excavate anymore. They're just like, duh.
I think because it's privately owned, that they probably just wanted to leave them there
Yeah.
and just let them rest. Because when they got to the graves of children, they're like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
We're not doing this anymore.
Um.
And I think they probably just wanted to leave them there to rest. Like,
This.
I don't know. I honestly, if I owned this land, I think I would just shut it all down and give the land back to the Shawnees.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Because, or sell it to them, whatever. I
Well.
think I would just give it to them because it belongs to them. Their people are buried there.
Well, right. Like their ancestors are buried there.
Right. And their history is there. You know what I mean? Like, how creepy is that, Rebecca?
The whole thing freaks me out, and I feel like we need to go there, and I need to go into one of the ticket booths.
Yes. Are you going to go alone?
No, I don't know how big it is, but we both have to go. I think
We both have to go in.
I can't go by myself. I will have a mental breakdown like that lady did.
For real, like an experienced investigator just like flipping out so bad she has to go
Yeah.
to the damn hospital.
Yeah, that'd be me. I'd need sedatives and all kinds of narcotics.
I don't think I would. I think I'd be okay with it. It's just,
I mean, I think I would at first, but I don't like I get claustrophobic really easily. So I feel like in like the first couple of minutes I'd be okay. I'd be like live in the moment, like wow, something supernatural. And then eventually I'd be like, okay, I'm done and I want to get out now.
like, you're all just pissed off, like, right away. You're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
just
let
done.
me out.
We've had our fun, but I'm done. Like
So I
it's
was
over.
reading this, right? And I got to the part where it's an Indian burial ground, right? And there's like 3,000 bodies here. And I literally thought of the poltergeist.
Interesting.
I was like, I wonder if it's like the poltergeist there.
Yeah, obviously it is.
Is one day the house just gonna get sucked up into like the nether?
They're here.
Like,
Yeah.
right.
Oh gosh, I'm so freaked out. I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep now.
It's so good. This place is so good though. And I'm like, I have heard of this place. But like when I've heard of it, I've never heard of it by its name. I've always heard of it as like the most deadly amusement park or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird because I still feel like I've heard of the name, but I can't recall like I don't know. You hear a lot of stories, especially about like old amusement parks, like they were pretty much death traps anyway. So it's
Right.
it's it's one of
And
those things, but
and like I told you, like I have a really good one coming up. Provided I can find the information I need to find out about it,
I'm very
because
excited.
it's very, very hush hush. Like whatever happened here, I mean, because the only thing that I have right now is a firsthand
It's a
account from somebody I
secret.
work with.
What? Where is it at?
It's in New Mexico.
Oh, New
Yeah. And
Mexico.
I'm kind of like, huh,
Now I'm
I don't know.
intrigued.
And when you look up the name of this place, it doesn't exist. It's weird. I can find nothing of it
I
when
want
I
to
looked up the name.
I want to ask you the name, but I'll wait and listen to your case on it.
Well, it may get to a point where we may have to do a duo on it,
Yeah.
because two brains doing research on it, it might be a little better, because it's literally hard to find anything. He actually had to send me a link to a newspaper article that talks about lawsuits from the previous place. And I'm like, okay, so now I have somewhere to start.
Yeah.
But
But what is it? What
in
happened
this
there? What's going
article, it
on?
doesn't, what's crazy is in the article, it doesn't even mention the name of this place.
That's so weird, man. I can't wait.
I'm telling you, it's so cool. Like I know, but I may need some backup on it. We may both have to do some
Okay.
stuff on it, because I just don't know about it.
Yeah, totally. We could do like a twofer, a double, uh, a
A duo
duo.
case.
Yeah, there we go. A duo. Two.
So anyway, that is my case
Dude, it's
of
so
the Lake Shawnee
creepy.
defunct amusement park.
Dude, I feel bad that so many kids died there, really, but
Me too. But I mean, like that's like way. Well, I feel bad about the kids recently, and then I feel bad about the indigenous people, that they just wanted their dead to rest there, and we came in and we took it all over. Not we, the English, because the English were
not me.
dicks.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in that.
I was not either. But that they came over and just kind of took it off and took it over, and we're like, we don't give an F at what you got going on here. We're taking this land.
Yeah.
I bought it fairly from the British government, the English government. Like it now belongs to me. I don't care, right? And all these people were like, dude, you're like walking on our dead people, and we want you to get out of here.
I feel like maybe they should have just said that though, like that it like I feel like if I bought land and a tribe comes to me and says this is our graveyard basically, I'd be like, "Oh, all right, you can have it back." Like I'm not
Yeah, but
interested.
see how I mean, this happened in the 1700s. How do we know that that didn't actually ever even happen? They could have been like, "Hey, our dead are
That's
buried
true.
here."
That I mean that's true.
You know what I mean? And they fought the government for the land.
Yeah.
So like, and they still, I would at some point believe that they're like, "Hey, man, that place is sacred to us.
Yeah, but of course they didn't
That's our
care.
cemetery. Our
It
people are buried there. They all died of this sickness. We don't want it being sold.
they
We
didn't
don't want you
give
guys
a
to have
shit.
it."
That's
So I'm like, I don't know. There's so much wrongdoing in that whole situation right there.
no, it's fucked up, man. The natives
It
have
is,
always
I
gotten the
agree.
short end of the stick, I think.
So I was like, wow, what a dickish move. Because at some point somebody would have had to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's messed up.
Like,
But it's a
that's
good
our
story.
graveyard.
This is our
It is a good
cemetery,
story.
you douchebag. Get out.
Right.
Could you even imagine, like, okay.
And they warned them many times. It took them 8 years to kill anybody. You know what I mean? So it's not
Yeah.
like they were like instantly enraged and
I mean,
like started killing people like the first day they lived there.
the thing,
Those people, the Clay family, lived there for 8 years.
yeah, but the thing that bothers me is that I feel like they are probably relatively innocent. They didn't buy the land from the natives, like, you know what I mean? They bought the land from the government, obviously.
They
So,
bought stolen land from the government, and they were warned many times.
But of
You know
course,
what I mean?
I always
I,
I
I
have a,
agree, though, that they were innocent in the whole dealing. They just bought land that was up for sale.
and especially like I always feel like there are people that are off limits during wartime, and children are at the very top of that list in my mind. So I think
I agree.
even a 16-year-old, which back then he would have probably been considered a man, but they did shoot a kid and then stab the girl. So I'm like, I feel like those people should have been off limits, really. But
See, and like the girl, I don't even think it was planned. Honestly think that she was just kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time.
yeah, she got involved with stuff that she shouldn't have, obviously. So
Right, like she interfered into it, and out of, I think, almost necessity, they killed her. You know what I mean? Like she was impeding their escape.
I guess, but I'm like, what can one little girl do against six? I'm like warriors. I'm assuming they were warriors.
11 warriors.
Right. So
Yeah.
what really could she have done? Nothing. Nothing.
Right. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know
just,
either.
it's an effed up story from beginning to end.
Most definitely.
But I
And
do want to go here.
totally, we're going here. Seriously.
I agree. It's gonna
Yes.
be great.
And dude, that'd be crazy. I don't know if you know, like if you listen to like radio, like AM radio or talk radio,
Not
they
usually.
but so they
I
have
listen to a
like
lot of podcasts.
right, so on like talk radio, like a lot of times they have like the talent, they call them the talent, and they have like vacations that you can book with the talent. So the talent is going to be like going on a cruise or whatever, and so you can book the cruise to go with the talent. I would like someday when we're popular and famous, we should do that. We should have like where we have like a set number of tickets and we all just go to like 5 places. Like that'd be
Yes.
crazy with like the fans.
Like where we have an itinerary, and
Yeah.
yeah.
With like the most dedicated fans that are willing to pay $5,000 a person.
That'd be very cool.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
That would be that would be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so we need you guys to like, share.
Should share that shit. That's just shit.
We need you guys to like, share, subscribe,
Yes.
give us some views.
Tell your
Follow
friends.
us. You can tell your friends. Yes, follow us on Facebook at Rebecca Tristan, Instagram at occultist_therapist. Twitter is occultist therapist. And our Gmail, please, please, please email us your firsthand accounts of all of your
Yes.
paranormal happenings, please.
Yeah, you might be
Um,
included on the Halloween show if you do. So,
yes, because it's going to be fantastic. But you can email us at occultisttherapist@gmail.com.
yes. And I will make sure I put that new, the email address in our links, which are always, always up on all of our videos. You can just follow any of those links. And yeah, let's do it
Yes.
again.
Yes, and we will do it again.
Do
But
it
we
again.
want your guys' stories because we like nothing more than firsthand accounts of paranormal activity.
Yeah, and I will
If you
take-
guys have awesome pictures, please send them to us. Video, we want to know. We are interested. And if you guys do share it with us, we will share it with everybody else.
Yeah, we're not greedy. We don't hoard that shit.
We do not. And we will it will be in one of our videos for sure.
Yes, but you have to make sure that you do all those things and turn on your notifications so you don't have to
Yes.
look for our content when it comes out. You'll just get that little notification. And I guess that's it then for this Thursday evening. People don't know it's
Yes.
Thursday because really our videos come out at very random times.
Right. We don't have an exact schedule, but we do try to do 2 a week.
I think we've done pretty good job at that. That was not proper grammar, but
Yeah, but
What
we
do I
work
care?
and we got families, and We actually have to go to that daytime job.
Yeah, we got.
We
Oh
want to
gosh.
make this our daytime job so we can spend all week
Oh my gosh.
researching.
That would be my dream, like for real. So, do all those
Me
things.
too.
Follow us, email us, comment on our videos, whatever you need to do. Just do it, and make sure you check out our podcast. We are everywhere except for Apple. That's like our new disclaimer: is we're not on Apple.
Right, we're not on Apple.
Yeah, we don't
But
even need to say
just
anything
because we're
else.
not on Apple does not mean that you cannot follow us on pretty much everywhere
Yes,
you can get podcasts.
we are out there.
Yes, we are.
That sounds creepy. I like it. We're out there. Is
Yes,
that our new
I
slogan?
like it.
We're out. We are out there.
We should get shirts made. We are out there.
Yes, that would be awesome. And then have like ParaSisters on the back.
Yes, we need some merch.
We are
We need
out
some
there.
merch done.
Yes. All right, we're gonna work on the merch. Our
Yes.
20 subscribers will be very interested. They're gonna be like, "What merch?"
I bet if we get, I bet if we get merch, we'll have 25 subscribers.
All right, 22 subscribers. All right, y'all. I guess we're gonna end this. So I forgot what I say. I don't know if it's I'm tired or oh, that's right. Okay, so we're ending this. I might edit that or I might leave it in. We'll see what happens.
Just leave it in. Why not?
Where I've totally lost my mind and my memory. I'm gonna go take some ginkgo biloba and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
And you all stay creepy.
Peace.